Hello, welcome to today's video, which is going to be about the Directional Blur Tool. The default is linear, and this gives us a blur in a linear direction, as you can see here. The angle is the direction of the blur, and the glow is how much glow is applied to the blur. Different types, linear, as we see here. We also have radial blur. And as you can see, this gives a bulge blur effect. And if we use the angle, we can twist blur here. And this would actually be good in this case. Put a ellipse mask over the wheel. We can give the effect that the wheel is in motion. Obviously, we'd need to give a linear blur to the car to make the car look like it's in motion. We then have the center blur, which is very similar to the linear blur, except the blur will go in opposite directions, so it goes both ways but in opposite directions. That's followed by the zoom blur. The zoom blur is more like a real world camera with a long lens and a long shutter. In fact, for the zoom, what we could do is with some text, we could use the zoom to make some God rays, so we can push let's push it out to 0.3, so we can push this out, and what we can do then is just move the center so we create some God rays. Now, one thing I did notice, the direction blur on the edit page is different, so we have different controls here because it's an open effects. We've got the blur strength, and this seems to be the center blur, and we have the blur angle, and then we've got stylized and realistic here. Now, if you want to have the blur from the Fusion page, now if you want the controls which are here, which are more extensive, all you need to do is bring in a directional blur and rename it template. Once you've renamed it template, you can right click, go to settings, save as, and I've already done this. But what we can do is then at this point we can rename it. So if I rename it directional blur and then save it out, so I've already done that. Then when we come back to the edit page, what we can do is in the effect, we've then got the directional blur here. Drag that down, and we now have the controls that we had on the Fusion page. What I've discovered is a lot of tools that are inside Fusion here can be brought over to the edit page with all their controls just by changing the name of the node. So that's it for this video. I'll see you next time.